Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hejin Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. Happy Sunday. Anyways, I had left off with this very nice looking bull flag, which was breached. And that breach, I believe, so far is decisive. And I also reviewed that at 5,900, there was a monstrous volume that lifted it on the daily scale out and bounce off this bottom line. Price has breached. Now, there was another event just very similar to it where another monstrous volume. I want to go a little bit to the past and just stretch this up a little bit and see how the correction was looking at that time in September. And I'm going to go to 4 hours. And it didn't save it. Okay. This is it. Yep. And how this monstrous volume here, even on a 4-hour scale, just lifted everything. And I want to show how here, just from visual optics perspective, how it looks very ABC, three-wave-ish. And after this monstrous volume, there was a bit of a decline in volume, yes, ABC-ish. It didn't look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, something like this, it would have been awesome. This would have been 5 waves up, undeniable, unmistakable, etc., etc. But it wasn't. Even right now, it looks very A, B, C-ish. So how in God's name does a three-wave looking pattern achieve higher highs, which is what it did? Well, I think it's all a matter of subjectivity just to a certain degree. If you go to the 1 hours, you will find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was wave 1. This is wave 2. And then 3 took it higher. And even in this, there were no massive volumes like this because it's not required. You only need enough volume to carry it upwards in a very nice uptrend. And here too, you can find a wedge. And this wedge looks bearish, price is declining, broke down below the bottom line. You can count it as A, B, C, D, E if you want, and you could say, oh my gosh, a new lower low is coming, everybody watch out. We're going to go back to 2000 or something like that. This is back in September of 2017, the September correction. So from this wedge, It was very disappointing for the Bears when it only declined very small amount. I mean, they could say we even saw a left shoulder, head, and right shoulder, and this just didn't go down. Well, there's a reason for that. When there are so many sellers that just spent all the bullets to drive this down on a near vertical level, even when it's 60.18% recovered, there are still not enough willing sellers. That is the thing. Not enough willing sellers. What do you need? You need sellers to drive price down and drive it hard down. Kick it while it's down. But when they've already spent all of the bullets, there are not enough willing sellers. And that won't drive it down to a new lower low. And I think that's important to understand. Okay, yes, volume isn't screaming high. You might want volume up here to this level, blah, blah, blah. Yes, okay. It'll be good to have. Volume is too low. I understand. I see it too. But let's look at it from a seller to buyer perspective. Overall, there's so many sellers took their pop shots and did the best they could to knock it down. In this case, down to 2,900 or so. And we're still here seeing that wedge, which is bearish in implication, but if the overarching population of sellers, there's just not enough willing sellers. All right, so what does that mean for present day situation? Let's go back to it. So here we have massive volume. And a good rise in volume took it out and allowed the breach for the decisive breach event to occur. Here too, people have been saying, oh, I don't know, guys, this looks very ABC-ish to me. Looks very ABC-ish. It's going to go down to a lower low. It clearly had that implication, which is why when we came to this level, I put out a post saying we're at a critical juncture. And that critical juncture is we need to either breach this top line or this will have a good chance of going back down to 38 to 4,000. Now, given how this looks ABC, it makes sense. Well, this is fairly probably just a retracement. And if that's the case, this is nothing but a correction. And as long as price was within the channel, that was a very logical conclusion to make. However, let's look at the overarching consideration of seller population. Back when we were at 20,000, these guys, the sellers, were just trying to kill this Bitcoin. Just knock it down with everything, every might, all the might. Just knock it down. But when you see a monstrous volume coming out, just like you did in September, right here, when you see that coming out, you got more than just a temporary bottom. You got a real candidate for the bottom. Even though this looks ABC, at this level, there was not enough sellers to bring this down to a newer low. The repopulation of sellers does not occur that quickly. The repopulation of sellers takes time and price movement. The sellers depleted their population. It was like seller genocide, self-induced seller genocide. Everyone who sold are no longer sellers, but they have no more to sell. And they probably became buyers too, thinking of FOMO. and they started buying. Now, just because we are at 11, 12,000 here does not mean we have enough sellers to bring this down to a new low. It can. Yes, I know. It can. So if this looks ABC-ish, well, the resulting breach has pretty much changed that. And just like it didn't go down much here, the wedge that I drew right here, I don't think represents a signal for new bear market to start. Nope, I don't think so. Just like I showed you earlier in September, the wedge, I don't think there's enough sellers to bring it down back inside decisively. I think from a horizontal support perspective, there's significant support here. It's sitting on the support right now, right there as well. And good level of support here. While from a guidance perspective, wedges usually return below, in this case on an upward pointing wedge, where it started, so it'll come down to maybe 8,500. Yes, that is the general guidance for wedge formation. But you've got to look at the whole thing as a overall assimilation of information, I guess. And the way I see it is, even at this level, there are not enough sellers to knock this down to 7,000 or so. I don't think so. So most likely we'll probably see price going like so, like what we saw here. Now, here was, and I had also drawn this, another wedge. And yes, this wedge went down below the starting point. Absolutely. So yes, it is possible. However, given that it breached this line will be a good support. It might even do this as well. But I think the degree of support here on a local price perspective is pretty good, pretty respective. All right, so what do we have? We have a minor correction ongoing currently. Is it time to panic? It's never time to panic. No matter how bad things seem, it's never time to panic, and you never do the first reaction of a panic. If you seem broadsided at times, close your computer, walk away, and come back to it, not in a few hours, but in a few days. I hope this has been helpful. Look, the trolls are out in droves. If you find a lot of the spammers, trolls, what they say, what they put out in the memes, disgusting, unacceptable, just simply press the username. Click on the username and click on mute, and voila, you don't see any of that again. I hope that's helpful. All right, have a great day.